Floyd Marshall, and this is a conversation with. And today we are joined by the incomparable Tiffany Yancey, the writer of the hit holiday comedy Holiday Heartbreak. Now, right now, it's just you and me on Tiffany, so
Okay.
sometimes that's the way it works, but we are going to get this started.
Okay.
We're going to
Okay.
get this started. So, how are you?
I am doing just fine. I had a nice little nap, so I am refreshed.
Okay. Okay. You know what? I took a nap too. I just got up. I was in the living room with my wife and I got up and I left. And an hour later, she came in and she said, "Well, where did you go?" I said, "Hey, I had to take a nap because,
Yeah, it looks like a power
yeah,
nap.
not as young as you used to be. So you have to take those power
mm,
naps." So,
yeah. Yeah.
congratulations on Holiday Heartbreak. It was an amazing film. It was so funny. It
Thank
was
you.
it
Thank
was
you.
it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the storyline and everything about the film was really good. It was really well acted, well written, of course. So
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. I'm happy that it came together and that you enjoyed it. And I've gotten so many really great reviews, some great feedback, and because that's of course you're like when you're writing it and you're putting it together, you kind of like you feel it's great. You know what I mean? You feel it's good, because like okay, this is. But then you're like, okay, I wonder if everybody else is gonna like it. If everybody else is gonna get it. You know what I mean?
mhm.
So just to get the feedback from the people who watched it, and even some of the actors, like Michael Collier, he called me like after it premiered, and he was just telling me like how his family and his aunt, like they just sent him some wonderful reviews about the movie. And it just made me feel so good. I was just like, wow, yes. Like, yeah, yeah. So it's a great feeling to know that all the hard work, your vision, idea, and just to see it come to fruition is just like, man, it's a blessing. And then the people actually like it. Then it was like Ebony Magazine Movie of the Week. I was like, oh my God. You know what
Okay.
I mean? I was so yes, this is happy.
Okay. So, we talked the other day. We basically had an interview. This is the second interview, and we basically discussed the process and the journey that you were on in order to get this made. But we're going to go back a little further than that. We're going to go back to the very beginning. So,
Okay.
what made you want to be an actress?
Woo, man. You know what? It's just something that, I can say it's just a God-given aspiration or talent or I can say, well, let's just say this. It started from childhood, I guess you can say. My parents, well, my father is a comedian. He swears he's a comedian. He's not really one. But I come from a very comedic family. And me and my sister, we would, growing up, my dad got us like a video camera, and we would do skits all day, like in the house, like this all time, all day, every day. We was just doing skits. So it was just kind of like, when you're a kid, you're just having fun, but you're acting and just make believe. And then when I got older and, went to school and, supposed to get that 9 to 5 and everything else. And then I graduated from Temple and I majored in communications, moved down to DC and got the 9 to 5. Then I was like, wait a minute, like something's missing from my life. Like,
Mhm.
is this it? Like, is this, I'm like, I was in my early 20s and I'm just like, trying to like find myself. And I was like, yeah, this whole 9 to 5 gig, yeah, it's cool, it's paying the bills, but there's something more. There's something missing. So that's when I just started taking theater classes and acting lessons, and I just really started navigating the DC theater, I guess, the atmosphere.
Mhm.
And I was just like, oh, this is it. This is it. So, and I was just doing it just to kind of fulfill like that passion within me, because I was working, and then in the evening I would go to auditions. I would go to acting courses and classes and meet people. So it was just like you just got that fulfillment of that passion, that little feeling you have inside of you. And from there, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to do. Like you said, you get that acting bug, and that's what happened. This is in the early like 2000s. So I've
Mhm.
been doing that for a long time,
Okay.
and but I really enjoyed. I just felt like, okay, I'm living my purpose. I got really just genuine joy from doing theater and acting in projects, and you know what I mean. So then from there, it was just kind of like a natural progression after going on so many auditions, and you know, it's part of the part you get rejected,
Yes.
and I just got tired of being rejected, and not necessarily that. I just felt like the opportunities and the roles for Black women just weren't there. And I was like, well, where is like the more comedic stuff? Because I'm a very goofy, silly person. Anybody who knows me, and I just felt like there was just something missing that from the entertainment world it wasn't relatable to me and the people that I knew. And actually, I was taking another acting class. I actually hated the teacher, but I got out of that class out of a monologue. That's how I got the idea for Love 'Em or Leave 'Em.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, this would be, I was doing a monologue about a woman who didn't want to marry the guy. And then the teacher said, he put a lighter in my hand. He said, imagine this is the man's penis. And this lighter. And I was like, what? And he's like, imagine this is his penis. Now do the monologue. So I thought it was so funny, because it was a comedic monologue. I said, you know what? This will be a really great idea for a movie. And so that at the time, that's when I reached out to Tim Fontaine. Shout out to Tim Fontaine, the cinematographer. And I said, Tim, I got this idea for this movie. And I told him about it. And he was like, yo, that's hilarious. He's like, we should do it. And at that time, I did not know how to write a screenplay. I didn't know how to do any of that. I just knew that, okay, I had this idea for this film and we're going to do it. So I did. I looked at some screenwriting books and stuff like that. And I was kind of like, okay, let me just put this script together. Kind of like, figure it out. I think I wrote it in Word, I think. But yeah, I'm telling like that's how new I was to screenwriting. Wow. I just knew that I had this idea and we're going to do it. So I was like, I'm going to figure it out. So that was the thing about it, was just so you just kind of just doing things on the go, on the fly, and you're just learning as you're going. But we had a great team of people together, and we did auditions, and then the actors, and it took us like a good year and a half to really get that film together, because it was just initially supposed to be just like an acting reel.
Okay. And
then it went to like a short, and then we kept adding on to it more and more scenes. It's like, okay, then it kind of turned into like a full, feature. But it was a great learning experience, during that time making that film, because I learned a lot about myself. Mm-hmm. I learned a lot about filmmaking and putting a film together, doing scenes, and it was just a lot of fun, but it was a lot of work. And then you learn about personalities and people that you think you can work with and people that you can't. Like, you're not on the same path. So it was, like I said, just all part of the journey. But it was a growing experience. And just by me doing that film, all the hard work and money I put up myself, and I, ended up winning an award. I won Best Comedy at the Urban Media Film Festival in 2015, and of course the Best Score at the Philadelphia Independent Film Awards.
Yes.
So it was just like confirmation that, I was on the right path. And even then, it was just telling me, like, Tiff, okay, if you're going to win the award and you really didn't know what you was doing, imagine if you really focused and really got your shit together. You know what I mean? So, because I had the passion and the drive, but I didn't really have, kind of like the guidance. So after that experience, I decided, you know what, if I'm going to produce my own films and be a writer, I'm going to really take the screenwriting thing very seriously. So at that point, I was looking for a screenwriting mentor, classes, coaches in the DC area. And I actually found Mark Lapadula. He is the Yale professor for the screenwriting program at Yale University.
Okay.
And he actually lives here he lives in VA. He lives in the DMV area, but because he commutes back and forth. So he was doing classes, like workshops in Bethesda and the Rockville area. One day, workshops, and he was having group sessions like at his house. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to learn screenwriting, I'm going to learn from a Yale professor. You know what I mean? And I'm going to learn it like I'm getting pretty much a Yale education on a, a budget because I did, I ain't had no money. I ain't had no Yale.
You're getting Cliff Notes.
Yes, I didn't have no Yale coins,
Right.
but thank God for him. That's why he was doing it, because he was like, he knew that there's students or people who wanted to learn, but they couldn't afford to go to Yale. So he was holding these workshops in the local area, and that's how I really started developing my screenwriting skills. And we went into the room. He had a whole table full of scripts, just just laid out. He was like, "Look, these are scripts. Pick some up and just start reading scripts and watching movies." And then he had like a booklet of information on like how to, put a script together, the structure, everything. And so from there, I really kind of stepped behind the scenes from the acting and really focused on writing. Okay. And I said, I'm the type of person, like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to be the best screenwriter that I can be. And so from there, and that's when I was just writing. And so in 2015, I'm trying to get the timeline together. That's when I came up with the idea. Actually came from a conversation with my dad for Holiday Heartbreak. It was actually initially the title was Chasing the Butterflies. Okay. And the idea from that came from a conversation I had with my father. And me and my father are very close, and he's always asking about my love life and like what's going on.
As dads do.
Yeah, and I'm like, Dad,
that's us as fathers. Yeah, hey, what's going on and who you doing it with?
Right? What's going on, baby girl? What's going on?
Right.
I was like, man, it's just rough out here. I don't know. I was like, I don't know what's going on. And he's like, he was like, you know what? I really think that I'm the cause for your dating dilemmas and issues, because he said I wasn't the best husband to your mom. I was out in them streets back in the day. I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. Right. And he said, I feel like my karma's coming back to pretty much like haunt you. And I was like, wow. I was like, maybe you are the reason why.
Like, thanks, daughter. I appreciate that.
But no, then I was like, no, Dad, you can't bear that burden. But I said that would be a great idea for a film. And I said, a father who was a player back in the day. And it's like, this is like I said, there's a lot of guys, men who out here, they doing a thing. Right. And they realize that, okay, you're breaking a lot of hearts along the way. And what if you had a daughter? Would you want somebody to treat her in that manner? Right. I don't think so. So I said because the one thing I was like, I have to write this movie. I have to write this script because I've never seen this before. That was the one thing. I said, if I'm going to be a screenwriter and come into this business, I want to write stories that we have never seen before. And that's kind of hard because it's kind of like they always say there's nothing new under the sun. I said, well, you really have to kind of like dig deep, really brainstorm on something that's really different and authentic. So I said, well, I've watched a lot of movies. I said, I've never seen a movie like this before. So I said, you know what? I'm going to be the one to write it. Yeah. And I did. And I was, like I said, I was just really honing my screenwriting skills and putting the script together. And I was submitting it to different film festivals. I submitted to like TV One. They had a screenplay competition, and just getting feedback. And I knew it needed work. Right. But I was like, I just wanted to know if I was onto something. But they gave me some great feedback. So along the same time, I connected with Tressa Smallwood. She's a mega book publisher here in the DMV area, and just very successful with publishing books and teaching other people how to write and publish their own books. And she was just getting into turning her books into film. I met her, I believe it's 2015, 2016. And actually, I met her through networking. It was the producer that was working with her at the time, went to school with Neil Carr. Neil was in Love 'Em or Leave 'Em.
Yes, which was an interesting role for him. I was very shocked. That was I'm not going to spoil it, but that was an interesting role, especially the ending of that movie. I said, okay. The ending of that movie. So if you haven't seen Love Him or Leave Him Where can they get that before we move any further? Where can they get that movie?
Actually, it's on my website.
Okay.
It's on, I have the whole movie. It's on my website, tiffanyyancey.com. So, and I kind of like, it's like when you, now that you kind of progress in your career, you kind of look back on some films, you kind of see like, oh, this could have been done better, blah, blah. But you're like, that was my first film.
Right.
But the context and the the overall message of the film was just fun. It was funny. And that was what it was meant to be. I was like, that was another thing. Love 'Em or Leave 'Em was like, that was a film that I've never seen before. That was like subject matters kind of taboo. You never hear about women talking about men's, genital areas and stuff like that.
And
but
y'all
I said,
do
okay.
talk about it. You just don't talk about it where people can. So yeah, it's not like you don't. Look, I know. Trust me, I've been around a lot of actresses, and I've been in rooms, and I'm sitting there saying, "Okay, this is material. Trust that." Like we were talking about earlier, I am putting this in the script, just so you know.
You're putting. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh no, I'm not putting what we're talking about in the script, but when I would be in rooms with actresses talking about their love lives and everything, like, it was going in a movie. It's going to something.
Right. That's what I'm saying. These are real life conversations that I have with my sister, my girlfriends. This is what we talk about.
Right.
And I said, okay, why can't this just be in the film? I said, because it's real life. It's relatable. And I said, that was another thing. I said, I want to write projects that's relatable. Right. So, and I know some people's like, I said, well, I wanted to push the envelope because nobody else was out here doing. I wanted to kind of be the spokeswoman for like, women and taking control of our sexuality and we can say what we want to say and, type of thing. So it was a lot of fun. And so Love 'Em or Leave 'Em, it is available on my website, tiffanyyancey.com. You can watch the whole film, don't judge me. Mm-hmm. But but it's a really funny movie. And so shout out to Neil Carr, back to what we say. So Neil was in Love 'Em or Leave 'Em, and Neil was like, Tiff, Kia, she was the producer at the time. She said, well, Kia's in the DC area. Okay. They are starting to make some films. She's like, you need to connect with her. So Neil connected me with Kia, and Kia connected me with Tressa. Actually, Kia was just like, well, Tiff, since you've been working in the DC area as an actress, you know a lot of actors in the area. Mm-hmm. So they said, well, okay, why don't you come on as like a casting associate? Because I was just like, well, look, I am a writer, filmmaker. I said, but hey, you guys are making moves. Y'all doing stuff. I want to be connected. I want to kind of, you got to get in where you can fit in. Mm-hmm. And it's all about networking. So I said, well, I know a lot of actors in the DC area. I can help out with some of the casting. So that's when I came aboard. Her first film was Secrets. And I assisted with casting the extras for Secrets. And then they did the other film, which was All In. At the time, it was called Born in the Game. I was the casting associate for that film. But like I said, but initially when I met Tressa, she knew I was a screenwriter. She knew I did Love 'Em or Leave 'Em. So that's why I told her, I said, well, I know that your films or what you're producing are primarily drama based. I said, but my focus is comedy. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of my lane. So if you ever need, some comedy, now I figured that she would at some point. So I said, just holler at me when you're ready.
Right.
I'm here. You know what I mean? So that just goes to show about networking and, people want to see that you're serious,
right,
and that you're reliable. And then you are, you have to be like a team player to some extent. So I kind of came in and was like, hey, even though I knew it was like, okay, I'm a writer, I'm a filmmaker. I said, well, what? I'm going to come in, I'm going to be a casting associate just because, I want to show, this lady. I said, I'm serious about what I'm trying to do and working with her. So you just have to be patient and you got to, you got to pay your dues. So that's what I did. And so from there, once she got a couple films under her belt, she got some connections with some networks. That's when she reached out to me, was like, okay, Tiff, these networks, they are looking for, now they're like, okay, we know you have this. What else do you have?
Right.
So that's when, So it's like these networks, they want holiday films. They want comedy. They want a whole portfolio of stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's when she reached out to me, said, well, Tiff, I know you had told me about this one film. Did you do anything with it? What's going on with it? I said, oh, no, it's still here, still waiting, chasing the butterfly, still here. Mm-hmm. And so from at that point, she said, okay, and I told her, I said I had submitted to TV One. They gave me some feedback. So she looked at the feedback. And so that's when we really started tweaking the script, really fine tuning the story. And initially the story was more focused on the daughter, but from the feedback, they were like, no, we want to know about the dad. We want to see what the dad does. Like, so that's when I had to go back and rewrite it, that he goes and apologizes to the different women. So like that script had transformed over the years. Mind you, this was maybe 2017.
Okay.
And I had joined her VIP. Actually, she had like a mentorship group, and I had joined her VIP club just to learn. Like I said, just learn some more information. It's all about learning and growing your skills. I'm never be the type of person where it's like, oh, I knew all that, I don't need to. You know, it's like you have to be a sponge and soak up as much knowledge as you can. And even at one point, I was like, well, maybe I should turn the script into a book, because she was a book publisher. But then I was like, no, this has to be a movie. I'm gonna stick to, you know what I mean? So that's the thing. It's like on this journey, you're kind of like, I don't, you know what I mean? You're trying to figure things out. You're trying to figure things out. And I said, no, stick to my original game plan. I'm gonna keep this script. This is a film. It's going to get made. So then once we fine-tuned it, she was shopping it around to the different networks. We were getting some, we were getting rejected, basically. We were getting rejected. Yeah, they were just like, oh, yeah, it's cute. Yeah, it's cute. But yeah,
not what we're looking for.
Yeah, they were like, so she was like, okay, Tiff, we're gonna keep shopping, we're gonna see what we can do. So then finally they said, well, what we're looking for, we need holiday films. They were like, you got some holiday films? So that's when she came to me. She said, well, Tiff, do you think that we can turn this into a holiday film? And I said, absolutely. I said, because the main storyline is basically still the same. We just added the holiday element to it. So I had to go back in the lab and rewrite it some more. I had to add the holiday element to it, change the names up. Especially now when we start getting interest from the networks, they have their input. So then you got to go in and make some changes. So it was a 2-year process getting that script, together to the point where it was ready to film. And so then after that, she said, well, if they don't pick it up after this last go around, she said, 2020, she said, I'm just going to shoot it. Right. We're just going to go and just make it and get it done, because she was like, I believe in this script and I think it's really good. And I was like, okay, sister girl, look, whatever you say, boss lady, whatever you say. And she has like a roster of films that she's doing. So she was just like, and the main thing was just like, okay, she was like 2020. Mind you, this was like 2019. So I had to like pretty much like wait a year, because she had things already lined up. And so again, you just have to be patient. You have to be willing to compromise. You know what I mean? I could have easily been like, well, no, it's supposed to be just a regular rom-com, or no, I'm not changing the title. And, I was like, no, if it's going to get made, we can make some adjustments.
And you know what? That's the way it works in the industry. I mean, you touched on so many points. You touched on the fact that, when you go back to love them or leave them, you're talking about building relationships, which is so important and so very key. I listened to this gentleman by the name of Travis Chappelle, and he always asks the question, is it who you know or what you know?
Right.
So which is more important? Is it more important that, what you know or who you know? I always come down on the side of it's who you know. Now you have to have that what you know, because it helps with the who you know, because if you don't know anything, you could know everybody, but it's not going to serve you.
Exactly. And they're going to set you full of BS right off the bat.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I mean? So you get that opportunity to meet that one person. They're like, all right, well, what you got? And you're like, you know what I mean? Right. And then you're like, yeah, so you're not prepared. So yeah, it's definitely who you know, but also too, it's also about what you know and what you bring to the table. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if you get that opportunity, you get your foot in the door, then they want to see that you about your business, that you on point. And so that was the thing. I was like, when I got in and met with her, she saw, okay, I did my first film already. You know what I mean? I already wrote a script. I was like, okay, I'm still learning, but she saw that I was serious. I was passionate. You know what I mean? I was willing to sacrifice. Like, you have to be willing to, you know what I mean? Like I said, just be going all in. And she knew, it was like, okay, Tiff, she's, Tiff's serious about this game. Right. You know what I mean? So she's just like, okay, I know that she's not going to flake out on me. And she's serious. So once people see that you are serious and you conduct yourself in a certain manner, you're professional, You know what I mean? Like all that comes into play, just like with anything else, like with any other job.
Right.
I mean, people want to know, like, okay, you're applying for a job. They want to know your background. They want to know if you are, if you're serious about it, if you want to be on something, your integrity, how you carry yourself. I mean, all of that. People. The main thing is people, work with people that they like. You know what I
Right.
mean?
That is so
And
important.
they want to work with people that they like and they trust and who they can trust. So just like with, anybody else, it's like if somebody recommends somebody to you, you want to make sure that they are legit. You know what I mean? So it's very important.
Yeah, and so you can't stress that enough because it's all about reliability. It's
Hmm.
about integrity. And what people really need to understand is people are putting up their money.
Yes.
People are putting up their money, and if
Right.
you're in this industry, and what I tell filmmakers all the time is you must treat this as a business. It's
Hmm.
great being somebody, oh, I just want to make films, I just want to create content, but if you're not approaching it from the standpoint of a business, more often than not, it's not going to work, especially as you start to move up, and especially where you are at the point in your career, because now you're talking about having content on major networks. So
Hmm.
people need to know that if I go to Tiffany, Tiffany needs to be ready,
Yeah.
and you kind of alluded to that when you said earlier that they asked you, which is something that they always do. What else do you have?
Yes.
What else
Yeah.
do you have? So
Right.
it's not, you just can't have one thing. You better have an arsenal of things, because
Right.
oftentimes if you go in and you pitch one thing, they say,
Mm.
well, we're not really feeling that. What else you
Right.
got?
What
What
else
else you
you
got
have?
in the box? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. What else is in your portfolio? Like what, you know what I mean? So and it's just this, so while, like chasing the butterflies, like I said, I always say like that while that was marinating, while that was manifesting over
Hmm.
here, I was working on my pilot for The Introvert Life. I was over here still writing, short films. I was still over here. I was an AD, assistant director for a series here in DC called Uproar.
Mm.
So I went behind the scenes, I kind of stepped back from the whole acting thing. I said, well, let me really hone the behind the scenes as a producer, as an assistant director, as, you know what I mean? Like the people who are actually pulling these projects together, because that's why I got to the point where it's just like, okay, I love to act. That was kind of like, I said, and I still love it. And I'm still going to, pursue that. I said, but you can't be a one trick pony in this business. You know what I
Right.
mean? I cannot be a one trick pony, and you cannot rely on just, but that's just, I mean, I can't say, this is just for me
Hmm.
personally. I don't want to be a one trick pony because again, you know what I mean? You got to be able to have multiple skill sets because again, this business is like, you see where we are right now.
Hmm.
There's a lot of actors that are out of work.
Hmm.
And what, because there's no production that's going on. There's no, things that, so a lot of actors are not working. And, thank God, like I said, I developed this skill as a writer. I said, I'm building my, name as a screenwriter. So now I'm like, I can have that as, okay, this is going to be another source of income. I'm going to write scripts for people. I can adapt, people's books into screenplays. So I have a valuable skill that I bring to the table. So that is something that in my arsenal that I can do. So that's why I tell people like, yeah, if you're an actor, get out here and produce your own project.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? We'll figure out how to write a script. You know what I mean? So that way you're not so dependable on just that acting gig.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think that's so important is just, bringing, and I'm telling you, once they see, like when I did Love and Believe 'Em, and when I was, of course, I was acting in it, but I was the writer, the producer. And once people found out that I was the writer and like the producer, oh, the respect level that I
Yes.
received, it was just like it put you on a whole nother platform.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I was like, ooh, I like this.
Yeah.
I'm the boss. I'm the writer. Yes. Not to be like, but it
Oh
doesn't make
no.
like, you know what I mean? Especially as a woman in this industry,
Hmm.
I don't want to be looked at as just, oh, she's just a cute face. She cute.
Right.
Like, no, I got some brains up here
You have some
too.
skills behind the cuteness.
I have some skills behind this cute face, so don't get it twisted. But yeah, it does. It definitely, like I said, people respect you a lot more when you bring, when you like I said, when you're the boss. I like being the boss. I like that.
And that's awesome. I like being the boss too. And but
Yeah.
but you said something that hopefully when people watch this, they will hone in on. You said learn multiple skills.
Hmm.
And I had this conversation on Clubhouse a few days ago. I was in a room full of actors. And what I said to the actors were, if you're an actor, you should be reading books on screenwriting. If you're an actor, you should be reading books on directing. If you're an actor, you should be reading books on cinematography. If you're an actor, you should be reading books on editing and lighting because you want to know every single aspect of what goes on a set. You
Yeah.
have to know this stuff because you never know who you'll end up in a conversation with. While on
Right.
set, you could be at craft services, and unbeknownst to you, you could end up talking to the director of the entire film.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you have multiple skill sets, you want to be the master of one and not a jack of all trades. But it's just good to have a working knowledge of
Hmm.
everything that goes on a set. So if you're an actor and you're doing a scene and the director tells you, well, I want you over here, or and I'm going to
Right.
get this type of shot, you're not wondering why the director is asking you to do that shot. You kind of say, okay, you know what, I understand where they're going. Or if they're reading a scene that you wrote and you're sitting there
Hmm.
saying, well, I have absolutely no idea why she did that. If you're
Hmm.
reading different books on screenwriting and you're reading scripts and you're watching film, then you kind of get an understanding of, oh, I see exactly why she did what she did. I understand why
Hmm.
she made that particular choice. So that was a very interesting point that you made, and I really want people, when they finally listen to this, to understand that it's imperative for
Hmm.
you to actually know your way around, because
Yes.
that also lets people know that you are about your business because you take this seriously. Because I've been
Right.
on sets years ago, it's been a while, where people will just be sitting around.
Hmm.
And you know I never went to film school, so when I would go on film sets, commercial sets, whatever, I'm watching what they're doing because I wanted to know.
Yeah, yeah. Same here. Yeah, I didn't go to film school either. Like most
Mhm.
of that's why I was like, yeah, I'm going to take this opportunity as being a casting associate, you know what I mean? But trusted believe I'm sitting here behind the director like this.
Mhm.
They probably like, what are you? I'm like, I'm soaking it all in
Right.
because one day I might want to direct. I might step into that, that role one day. I said, but when will you ever have a chance to actually be on a film set?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And learn this and not, you know what I mean? Go to film school. You know what I mean? It's people who've actually gone to film school, but actually haven't been on a film set. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So that's why I tell people like, yo, if you have an opportunity just to even like I said, just be an extra.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You say you want to be in this business. You know what I mean? Sometimes like people's egos, they just like I said, blows my mind. Sometimes the people's egos are just ridiculous, and it's
Mhm.
just like, well, look, you need to learn as much as you can. And sometimes you need to humble yourself and say, hey, yeah, okay, I feel like, oh, this role or this title, whatever is beneath me or whatever you feel. At the end of the day, it's like, what are you getting out of it?
Right.
You're getting knowledge, you know what I'm saying, that it's invaluable.
Mhm.
So, and the experience and the people that you meet,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? And the networking. Like I said, if I didn't come on and work with Tressa as a casting associate, there's no way in the world my film would have been made. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Because she met me as a writer, but then she saw that I was serious. She saw my work ethic. She saw my passion. You know what I mean? Like we developed a real, real relationship. And she saw not just that, but she saw the vision that I had. And
Mhm.
she's like, this is really good. I really like this. So again, it's all about this business. I'm telling you, it's all about building relationships
Mm-hmm.
and people. And it's like you got to get in that room and you got to network. And I'm the type of person, like I said, I'm an introvert by nature. And a lot of people don't think that no,
Are
I
you
am an
really?
yeah. See, you like what?
Wow.
No, see, I had to kind of get out of that.
Mm-hmm.
There's something. I mean, I'm still an introvert. Like, trust me, I'm not. Friday nights, I'm in the house, I'm chilling. And even before, I was never a party person. I like to be home. That's just how I am. But I knew in this business, you have to get out and meet people. You have to talk with people. You got to network. You got to build these relationships, and that's just what it is. I mean, with anything, if you're getting a job and whatever, a sales job, whatever it is, it's all about building relations. It's all about who you know. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to put yourself out there. You got to step out your comfort zone and start connecting with people. But so yeah, so once I'm out there, then I say my social battery dies and I got to go home and recharge. So I'm like, don't call me, don't text me. I am recharging. Leave me alone. So, but it's all about balance. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But when I'm talking about film, like this is something I really love to do. So my adrenaline gets pumping, like my passion. You can tell me I'm all like, oh, this, it's just, what I mean? It's like you feel alive when you're working in your purpose. So, but trust me, I have my moments when I crash and like, okay, I'm leave me alone. I'm good.
Yeah. And you know what? With all of that and what we've been talking about, the thing that continues to come through is the authenticity.
hmm
Because when you're talking about being on a set and saying, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm a writer, I have credits, but I'm going to go and be an assistant casting director. For lack of a better term, I could say that's a little beneath where you are as a screenwriter, but it's an investment and
mm
it's service to others. And
Right.
people have to realize that I was listening to something the other day and they basically said, and it's so true, when you help others, you end up helping yourself.
Oh yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, you if you help others, get further along, then you end up helping yourself because you never know where the people that you're helping are going to actually end up.
Yes. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Trust it. Look, especially in this business, and that's why I said, always be nice to folks.
Hmm.
Tell you
Be
don't.
nice on it. Just be nice. Period.
Let's be period. But some people some people just are not nice people. Some
Right.
people like it's ego or trust and believe. Listen, I had some folks that was real,
Hmm.
like I said, real shitty towards me
Yes.
on this journey.
Hmm.
And
Now that's my girl. Oh, Tiffany, man, that's my girl. Trust me, I
you
know.
know,
I
look,
know that. I know what you're talking about. I
like
know
yeah,
which of you speak.
yes. I mean, that's just, so oh yeah. So I got, especially now that, with the film came out,
Hmm.
oh man. Oh, and honestly, I was success is your best form of revenge. You know what I mean?
Yes, it
I'm
is.
the type of person, I just sit back because like I said, during the time when people was, looking down on you or they treat you a certain way or whatever, I'm like, okay, all right, watch. You'll
Hmm.
see. You know what I mean? That's what I was saying to and that, what, honestly, that was motivation
Hmm.
to make me go harder. Like when people doubt me, I mean, that's just a nature of this business. You're going to have friends, you have family members,
Hmm.
what I mean, that was just not believing in what you're doing. You know what I mean? But to me, that said, you know what? You don't know. You'll see. I
Hmm.
said, because me and God put this ideal in me. God is, what I mean, He's making this happen. I said, watch, you see, and
Hmm.
trust and believe. I mean, and I'm just, even like my own mom, my mother, she's very old school. My mother, very old school. She's like, oh, you need to get you a regular 9 to 5 and you get married and like, but she's old school. She's want to make sure, very protective. And
Yes.
yeah, she was very, skeptical about me being in the industry and stuff. And so finally, when this was happening with Holiday Heartbreak, and I was like, Mom, my film is actually going to be produced
Hmm.
for BET. And I told us this before we were about to shoot. And, I guess she was kind of like, she still was like realized like, yeah, why would I lie about that? You know what I
Right.
mean? It's okay. All right. It's okay. It's fine. So then when she saw the pictures of me on set, and then she's just like, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
but we joke. And then she said, and she did. She said she apologized to
Mm-hmm.
me. She said, I'm sorry for not, believing, in your dream and this and that. But I said, Mom, it's okay. I understand. That's just, and I'm telling you, that's just, this is my own mother. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? But that's you have to do what's in your heart. You
Yes.
cannot let other people determine your goals, your future, your life, whatever thing, you know what I mean? Because if I sat back and listened to my mom, you know what I mean, I would not be here.
Yeah.
So, so I tell it to anybody, don't let nobody stop you from what you're trying to do. Don't let nobody, tell you what you can't do. You know what I mean? It might be a delay.
Yes.
There's no straight path to, I guess, quote unquote success, because everybody's journey is different.
Girl, that's like a squiggly line.
Oh, what do you,
It's
man?
a
You up?
squiggly line.
Yeah,
I saw a picture for success, and
yeah.
it was like they gave a 2 year old a crayon and said, just go to town. And it's
Right.
because it's all over the place,
It is.
because you take detours, you take 10 steps back, you take
Yeah.
5 steps forward, you take steps sideways.
Mhm.
You get stuck in traffic jams. And
Oh yeah.
it's just it's a process. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah.
It's a marathon. But to your point about your mom, one thing that I've learned as I've done this over the years is that oftentimes when people say, well, I don't think you can do that, you know, whoever it may be, oftentimes I've found it's because they cannot envision that for themselves.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They're
So,
projecting.
right,
They're
they're projecting their insecurities, and
yeah.
and just their, because they've arrived at where they are, and
Right.
they can't see anything past that. So
And,
oftentimes, and my wife would always say, well, why do you keep getting angry at that? Because I'm like, well, they don't see what I see. And she was like, well, they're not supposed to, because it's not their
yeah.
dream. So
Exactly.
you getting twisted and bent out of shape and upset
Mhm.
that more people are not supporting you, and more people are not saying, well, go do that thing, Floyd. But it's not their dream.
Right. They're
So
not gonna understand. That's why I stopped telling people stuff. I'm telling you, like
oh,
I so much stuff to my. I don't tell people shit. You know
neither
what I
do
mean?
I.
I very select few people, because it's like, look, because it's like you already know. You know what I mean? The folks that's going to be supportive and the
Right,
ones who are not. You know what I
right.
mean? And I, like I said, going back to my mom, I love her to death. I stopped telling her what I was
Yes.
doing. I stopped telling her. Like she had no clue, like
Mm-hmm.
what I was down here in DC out here grinding it out, doing stuff. So then all she knows, next thing you know, I got a movie that's coming on BET.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just like, well,
How
I
did
was
that
like,
happen?
how did it? And you know what I mean? But I was like, look, you know what I mean? No, I told you I was
Yeah,
down here where you think I'm on, like, Mom, you think I'm over here bullshit. I'm like, no, I'm serious.
yeah.
But it's okay. You gonna see. You know what I mean? Seeing is believing. And so I said with this, like I said, with this accomplishment, it really, because a lot of people who've known me over the years, they know like, oh yeah, Tiff's in film. She, you know what I mean? But this was like, okay, this was like validation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all these, that 20 years or whatever you've
Mm-hmm.
been grinding and doing what you're doing,
That film
it was
thing.
that film thing. You out here doing that film stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Get you a real job.
Mm-hmm.
Go find you a husband.
Mm-hmm.
Go, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, okay, but at the end of the day, that's not going to fulfill me. That's not going
Right.
to make me happy. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can go get married tomorrow, but at the end of the day, I'm going to be resentful because like I'm still not, pursuing my dream. I'm still not happy. Nobody is supposed to do that for me. I'm supposed to do that for myself. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? So now like, hey, you find your dream, what you're doing, I'll support you, and I'm doing me. Then we, join forces together.
Right.
But yeah, you just like I said. So I've learned to be very, very selective with who I discuss things with. You have to find like mind. That's why I said my network of people, especially now, are primarily other filmmakers, you know what I mean, other actor, other, producers, you know what I mean? Like this is my circle. You know what I mean? Like I said, I have, a couple family members and
Right.
friends who like, And I'm telling you, like, I've had to, like, people's on chopping block, cut, cut, cut,
Yo, I keep a
cut,
sharp set
cut.
of Ginsu knives
Yeah,
readily
oh, look, I'm
available.
and dicing motherfuckers like
Look,
left because
man, you could see me on the infomercial at 3 o'clock in the morning because
right.
you know what I call it, keeping it close to the vest. Because, and again, I have such a phenomenal wife because she's so smart and she would tell me things, but of course, you don't listen until you're actually in the whatever and you're going back. And she was like, yeah, see, I told you. And I would tell people everything all the time. I'm posting it on social media. And you have to be very careful with that because when you tell everybody what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you're inviting negative energy because
Yes.
everybody don't have your best interest in mind. So you're
Yeah.
telling certain people certain things and they're like, "Oh, that's so nice." And as
You
soon as you
yeah.
turn your back, they like, "So she thinks
Mhm.
she all that cuz she."
Who she
And
think
and
she
and
is?
you invite negative energy into your
Yeah.
space. So you
Oh
got to be
man.
real careful who you tell and what you tell. When a
Yeah.
lot of times when people find out I got something going on, when it happens.
When it happens, right? When it happens, you know what I mean. You'll see
Hmm.
when I post about it. You know what I mean. But yeah, and that is so right. I'm telling you, I've learned that friends who you thought was especially at this point is like this is really like a really telltale because like this was like a really major accomplishment for me,
Right.
and I'm noticing like the people who I thought that was really would be happy for, I ain't heard a peep out of them.
Hmm.
They ain't said congratulations. They ain't said a damn. I'm like, really? And I done helped you with so
Right.
much other stuff. I done did this, because I'm the type of person like I am a giver. Like I go and help other people. You know what I mean? So I'm helping other people achieve their dreams. I'm
Right.
helping them shine when it's their season. See, I'm a type of person like, I don't. It's not all about me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, look, we can all do this together. So I'm like, if I have resources or knowledge, I'm gonna help somebody else. But then I realized, like, oh, you were just using me.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I thought we was cool. I thought we was friends. But no, you were just using me
Hmm.
for my skills and my knowledge and because I have a good heart. So then when it's my time, when it's my season, you ain't got nothing to say.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You ain't got nothing to say. You can't share a post. You can't. And I'm like, so I'm realizing now, like, oh, so this was actually 2020. It was an eye-opening year just for, of
Yes.
course, with everything that was happening, but also too with my career, just
Mm.
really seeing the folks who are really genuinely happy for me and the
Yes.
ones who are not. You know what I mean? And I said, okay. So now I'm like, I got, like I said, like 4 good friends.
Hmm.
Like y'all the 4. You know what I mean? But it's like, but that's just what it's like at this point in my life. I'm like, you know what? I gotta cut the negative. I gotta cut the dead weight.
Absolutely.
I gotta cut. You know what I mean? You gotta say cut the fat. I gotta cut the fat because I'm going in a direction, and they say everybody can't go with you. You know
Absolutely
what I
not.
mean? Everybody can,
Absolutely
and you
not.
don't want them because like I don't. If you, because my whole thing is like I'm gonna do me
Hmm.
regardless. I'm gonna do me regardless. And I'm like, and I want to help out whoever I'm gonna help, but you know what I mean? You got to put in some work. You got to be supportive. Like we on some positive energy over here. Don't bring that BS. You know what I mean? So, and I'm very focused. And if you're not on that same, mindset, that path, I don't have time. You know what I mean? Because now it's like it's really go time.
Yes.
So like all those things, I had to see those, and I had to see a lot of stuff for myself, and it really, it's like you're growing,
Hmm.
and you're maturing, and of course it's very hurtful because like
Yes.
damn, like you wanna bring your friends along, but I'm just like all right, well that's so now I'm like,
Deuces.
versus
But you know what? As they say, everything has a season, and so does and so do friends.
yeah,
Friendships, and you know, unfortunately, some friends can only go so far with you on your journey, and
hmm,
then you don't stop being friends with them, but it's like I can love you from a distance
right,
because your part of the journey with me is over. Not that you're a bad person, but I'm just going somewhere that you either can't go or you don't want to go. Because if you're
right,
ready to rock out with me, we can do this together. Because
right,
we've been
right,
we've been friends for a long time. But it goes back to some people. when they can't see things for themselves, they just can't see it for you. And that can really become a drag on
Yeah.
you.
Oh,
It can
absolutely.
really,
Have time for that. No,
right.
or some people, they're happy for you until you start doing better than them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Then you start, they like, oh, then they really feel some. And my whole thing is like, but again, I realize I'm a very unique individual. I'm like, look, we can all shine together. If you
Absolutely.
accomplishing thing like, I get excited when other people are winning stuff. If anything, it motivates me.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, well, hey, okay, let me step my game up.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like we can all win together. But again, unfortunately, everybody doesn't have that mentality. So you have to be very, very selective. You have to be your discernment level got to be on point, because even now you have people going to reach out to you, and you want to help folks, but then some people, like I said, some people want to just grab on your coattail, and people
Hmm.
that want just you know what I mean, and kind of, and it's like, all right, so now you have to be very selective, like, okay, are you genuinely really want to be cool with me, or are you just
Hmm.
trying to what you can get out of me?
Right.
You know what I mean? So again, and like I said, I'm an empath, so I can observe people very well. I can read people very well by your actions, and just my intuition. So obviously they're like, I may not say nothing,
Right.
you know what I mean, but I'm like, oh, I know, I feel you, I know what you're doing. I may not say it, but I know, I know, but I know. But you,
Hmm.
you know what I mean?
I can feel,
But that's just
and you can feel it. You can feel it.
you can feel it, you
You
can
can feel
tell,
it. You really know. You really know, and you develop a sixth sense if you do this long enough. And people have done things to you, you begin to learn. You can look at body language, you can listen to what they
hmm
say. It may not even be a full sentence, it just may be a word here or there. And you're like, okay, so I see how you roll. And that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, trust it. Like I've been, like I said, in my, just being a woman in this
Hmm.
business, and just work, not necessarily that, I can say just other women, men and women.
Hmm.
There's a lot of people who are intimidated by me.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And you could tell, like you tell people, have some folks who they kind of come at me sideways, and they might say stuff, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
Where'd
You know what
that
I
come
mean?
from?
Where that come from? But then I have to turn around. I got to come back. Like I got to come get with you, because like first of all, you're not going to be talking to me any old
Hmm.
type of way. So I got to like stand my ground,
Hmm.
because the perception is a lot of people think I'm younger than what I am.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And they be like, oh, she's cute. You know what I mean? Or they think, oh, she cute. She don't know nothing. Or
Right.
you know what I mean? I had that experience when I was the assistant director, and I was working on this. And it's like I had people constantly testing me. You know what I mean? And people kind of like, like I'm not, and I. It was fun, like Chad Smith. That's how
Yeah.
I met Chad, the director. I was the AD, and me and Chad, we clicked. That's like, you know what I mean? Like we just immediately clicked. But folks was testing me, and I was like, Chad, I'm telling you, man, they keep. I'm trying not to curse people out, like they keep messing with me. You know what I mean? And Chad was, because he's a man,
Hmm.
they weren't coming at him that way.
Right.
But because I'm a female, you had a lot of people just really, they doubt you. They kind of think you don't know nothing. And
Hmm.
like, if I say something, it kind of like they didn't hear it. But Chad said,
Right.
oh, I'm like, what?
It's the gospel according to Chad. And you're like,
Yeah.
I just said that. I just said that.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I just said this.
You say one
Really?
plus one equals two, and then Chad says, one plus one equals two.
Right.
Chad, are you serious?
But
Wow. I
yeah,
didn't
but
know that.
yeah, but shout out to Chad. Chad was like, Tiff, I'm going to empower you. You know what I mean? He was like,
Right.
he don't, he's just, like I said, some men are just, their egos are just, they can't take, any type of direction
Hmm.
from a woman. They just, but Chad is not like that at all. He's cool as hell. And so Chad was like, no, Tiff, I'm going to empower you. I'm going to, what I mean? He had my back.
Hmm.
So I was like, from that day forth, I was like, yo, me and you, I'm rocking out with you. You know what I mean? Because it's like when you find people like that, you know what I mean? You hold on to them. You know what I mean? So that's why I was like, you on this journey, you got to find the folks that you really connect with, and that they genuinely have your back, and I have theirs. You know what I mean? And then you just kind of just like I said earlier, you got to eat the meat and spit out the bones.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you're gonna have some folks that's just, they're gonna come at you. They're not gonna support you. but you just got to just keep it pushing and then just hold on to the real ones. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, but you know, again, it's like I said, it's all part of the journey.
Yes.
And it's just, I've grown so much, you know, and I'm still growing. Because I'm never going to sit here and say I'm a know-it-all. Like,
Right.
no, I never want to be that type of person, but I know a lot more about myself, you know what I mean? And knowing my worth, you know what I mean, what I bring to the table,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times you were, you know, early, I would kind of, a lot of times because I'm 45 and I felt like, oh, I should be a lot further on in my career, you know, than where I am at my age.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, oh, I should have accomplished this. I should have blah, blah, blah. You know, I should have done this in my 30s. Mm-hmm. And then I had to look back and like, no, you wasn't ready.
Right.
You weren't ready. You were not ready. You know what I mean? You really did not come into your own as a person, as a woman, like your confidence, you know, really being comfortable in your own skin. You know what I mean? Once you get to a certain age, you get to that, you know, you in your 40s, you like, look, fuck, I'll like, you know what I mean? You just get that like, you know, that fuck it level. Like, you know what?
Wait till you get in your 50s.
Oh, well, look, I'm going to be hella
Girl, when you get in your 50s, you're okay. Really? Look, I'm gonna be nice today,
really
but
like
if
a zero fuck given.
when you get in your 50s, you know, your perspective really, really changes, and you're saying to yourself, you know what, I, I'm a whatever. If what yeah, when you get in your 50s, yeah,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's I'm on that. Yeah. When you get to that, you know, because you have to have that mentality, like, okay, you know, because you can't let, you know, the bullshit and the people's attitudes and, you know, you got to have that zero fucks attitude. Like, you know, I ain't gonna let y'all, you know, I ain't thinking about y'all. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I ain't thinking about people because again, that will hinder your growth.
absolutely.
That will hinder your success. Worrying about what other people think of you,
Mm-hmm.
worrying about what this one said, and then, you know what I mean. I'm telling you, like you'll be, and it'll just stop you from achieving a lot of things.
It definitely
So
will. It
yeah,
definitely
so
will.
I'm you know, so I'm like I'm thankful that you know everything is happening at this time. That was the time. This is the time it was supposed to happen. I just had to
Absolutely.
be patient. And that waiting period, yeah, boy, that's a hell of a period because you're going through a lot of BS
Mm-hmm.
and ups and downs and struggles, and you kind of like God, when,
Yeah.
like, come
What?
on, man, like I've been patient, Lord, like
Mm-hmm.
you know, but He just like, look, just I got you,
It's
I got
preparation. It's
it's preparation,
preparation because I look
yeah,
at myself and everything that I'm doing right now. And I've had that conversation with myself because I'll be 55 this year. And I've had
mm-hmm,
that conversation with myself. Well, I wish you know, if you look at other people, even, you know, even now, sometimes you get caught up in that. Well, they're doing this and that. But then I say to myself, if I had started to do what I'm doing right now in my 30s, I would have fallen flat on my face because I
mm-hmm,
just did not have the correct mentality to take it as seriously as I do now. I had to learn some things.
right,
So
right,
when I say, "Well, I wish I was here. I wish I was," well, that wasn't your journey. You weren't
right,
supposed to be there.
yeah,
You're where you are supposed to be at this point in time.
yeah,
You know
absolutely,
that
absolutely,
that's just the way it is. But
it is,
my next question, because this is phenomenal. This has been a phenomenal interview. Awesome interview. What
yes.
is next for Miss Tiffany Yancey? What do you have going on right now that we need to be aware of?
Ooh, what I got cooking, what I got cooking. Well, I just recently completed a script for Country Wayne.
Hilarious.
Yes, hilarious. Oh man, you know if y'all don't know who Country Wayne is, y'all better find him on Instagram and Facebook. Of course, he was in Holiday Heartbreak, and he approached me on set, and he had this idea for a film. It's called That's Her, and so he's at that point where he's really, you know, I'm like this film was just a blessing for just a lot of people because that was his first major film role. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So, oh wow, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was a first, like I said, leading role for Michael Collier. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, my film was just offering opportunities, for just like these talented, Black actors, so which was, just icing on the cake. But yeah, he approached me and said, I have an idea for a film. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's make it happen. So as soon as we wrapped, I started, working on his film. So it's done. We're actually in the very, very, beginning stages. We're planning to shoot it sometime. I'm thinking next couple of months. But so that's coming out soon. So, and he's going to be the star. Like he's the executive producer. So he's Country Wayne Entertainment. You know what I mean? He's going to be on some Kevin Hart shit. I mean, just put it. So y'all stay tuned. He's, like I said, going to be producing his own content. And that's the beauty of this business is like it's not like how it was before, like people had to go to Hollywood, well, quote unquote Hollywood and LA and look for all these opportunities to hand you opportunities. Like this man, he's building his own audience. He has a huge following. You know what I mean? He has the funding. So it's like, hey, you know what I mean? I'm going to just connect with a writer and have her interpret my idea, put it down on paper and make it happen. So that's coming up next. That's her. And I just recently finished a book adaptation for author Nadine. She gonna get mad if I don't say it. Author Nadine Jasmine. I just adapted her book into a TV pilot. Nice. So she's shopping that around. And then I'm actually going to be stepping back in front of the camera. Okay. Yes. I'm actually going to be working like on a mini series called Perfect. And this is I'm not writing it. I'm just actually going to be acting in this. I might be stepping to the producer seat because I'm like, if I'm going to be acting and stuff, I want to be the producer too.
Right.
So I won't talk, but it's written and directed by Cadell Cook. I don't know if you know Cadell. He's a local filmmaker here in the DC area. Does some really phenomenal work. And so yeah, we're going to be shooting that in the next couple of weeks. So we're doing like a couple episodes and we're going to see, how it's received, and it might be a full series. But so I'm really excited to actually, get back in front of the camera. So it's been a long time. Even though I had like a quick cameo on Holiday Heartbreak.
Yeah, I saw that. Walking
you
by
saw
like
me.
he was a diva.
And that was, just to be fun, like just to let people know, like that was not planned at all. That was a scene because, like I said, when you're filming, like things change, and you have to be able to adapt and kind of think on your feet. So that scene initially we were supposed to be at a boutique, but we couldn't get the location we were short on time. So we said, okay, we just want to shoot they're coming out of a shopping mall. Mm-hmm. And I told Charles, shout out to Charles Jones, the director of Holiday Heartbreak. And I said, well, Charles, we have to show that Wild Bill is still like a womanizer. We still have to show that he's still a dog, even though he's with Monica. I said, we need to have like a lady walk by and have him like eyeball the lady, look at her butt or something. And we didn't have any extras that day. It was just like a last minute change. So he was like, all right, well, you won't have to do it. I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, look, he's like, don't me too me, but you qualified. You got the body for it. You cute. I was like,
he said, don't me too me. Okay.
Yeah, don't me too me. I was like, oh, well, you are right. I am, But,
it's popping.
Yeah, since I've been doing her squats.
Okay.
But, so yeah, it was, and I'm like telling you, like, luck, and it was a good thing. We shot everything here in PG County, and so literally, I lived 10 minutes from where we were shooting.
Okay.
I had to run home, put on a skirt and heels and some makeup because it was like we were shooting in August. So I had on like t-shirt and sneakers, and I was like, oh man, I gotta get So I was like, fuck it, I gotta run home. So I got my little skirt, my little heels, put my little bag, and I had to saunter across the screen. And so, yeah, that was completely a last minute thing. But it turned out great. It turned out, it turned out better than I have ever expected. So this whole experience has just been like, it's been surreal to some extent, you know what I mean? Because you kind of feel like I knew this was coming, you know what I mean? It's like I'm a visual person. I'm always seeing things ahead, and I kind of like I manifest things. So I knew that this was going to happen. Of course, I didn't know when and how and who, but you knew it was going to happen. So when it was finally like coming to fruition, it was kind of just like, I just had, and we were on set and people asked, how do you feel? How do you feel? And I was just like, I had like a weird sense of calm. Like I was kind of like, this just kind of floating along, this kind of,
It
I
hadn't
had,
hit you yet.
really, yeah, I was just really grateful. I was just really kind of like at peace. Like this is what I envisioned. Like it's here, and I'm just soaking it in. I'm kind of just, and of course I had my moments where I kind of like I had my shed my tears and thank God, and but then like I said, I was like, okay, after that I was like, okay, just be, just be present, just soak it in, just So it was just a wonderful experience. It's kind of surreal to some extent.
Good. So we are about to wrap it up because I
Okay.
know you have other things to do.
Yeah,
But
I know. We have a
before we
table read.
go, what advice would you give someone that is just entering the screenwriting space, the acting space, the content creator space? What advice would you give someone just coming in?
I would say, you know, first of all, this business, you have to really, really love this business. You know what I mean? In terms of you have to have a passion for this because it ain't all, rainbow farts and unicorn. You know what I mean? It's not at all. People don't see the behind the scenes. You know what I mean? It's a lot of work, long hours. You know what I mean? And so you really, really have to want this. You know what I mean? Just don't want it for, oh, I want to do this because I'm famous. I want to be famous. I want, money and girls and whatever else. No, 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 no. That shit don't happen right away. You know what I mean? It sometimes may not ever happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to be in this because you love it. You know what I mean? Like it's like you kind of like feel like, okay, my life is not complete if I'm not doing this type of love. You know what I mean? So that's the first thing. Do it and really, and whatever you're gonna do, be serious about it. If you're gonna be an actor, be an actor, be all in, you know what I mean? Go, you know what I mean? Take classes, read scripts, you know what I mean? Practice your monologue, like of course, we're in a pandemic, but people, like I said, hop on podcasts like this to get information, like this practice honing your craft. And that goes for writing too. If you want to be a screenwriter, read scripts, watch movies. There's so much information. There's a plethora of information online about how to write a script. You know what I mean? You can go on YouTube and just watch, but you have to practice. You know what I mean? So you cannot, you have to put into this what you want to get out of it. Let me just, you know what I mean? You can't just be half-assing this and thinking you're going to get major awards or you're going to get your movie. No, you have to be serious and be dedicated about whatever it is you want to do. So it's an actor, producer, writer, whatever it is, be all in, be serious about it. And I would just connect with people, like-minded people. You know what I mean? That has been the toughest part of my journey, was really just finding like-minded people who were serious about their craft, who was actually doing the work, not just saying they're doing the work, but actually doing work, putting, shooting, doing whatever, they have, work that they're doing. You know what I mean? And so it's like, okay, connect with those people who are actually making things happen and learn. You know what I mean? Set your ego aside and learn. Be a sponge. You know what I'm saying? Be a team player. So, and again, like I said, I can't stress it enough. Is just really just hone your craft, whatever that is. So, like I said, if you're a writer, go read scripts. You can go to simplyscripts.com. There's a whole shitload of scripts on there. Whatever genre you want to be a writer in, read those scripts, watch those movies. And then if you have an idea, write the movie that you want to see. Like Heartbreak was the movie that I wanted to see. You know what I mean? And don't do it because like, oh, holiday films is popping now. Oh, horror films is popping now. No, you write the film that you want to see, that you're passionate about, because screenwriting is not easy. It's long hours. It's a lot of work. So if you're writing this story, it has to be a story that you really kind of are excited about.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So that if anything, like your first script, write it as that idea that's been festering in your mind. Just get it down on paper, and then kind of build your audience, your lane. Like look at Tyler Perry. He has built a diehard audience who loves his work.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And he stuck with that. And he's a billionaire now. You know what I mean? He stuck with it. He started with the plays. He started, doing the, Medea.
Mhm.
And, people did, he was shitting on Tyler Perry. But guess what? Tyler Perry is a billionaire.
With a
You know what I
B,
mean? What they be,
capital B, from his
capital
car to
B.
capital B on an. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So again, so it's like just be, stay focused on, your vision, and don't let nobody deter you. So, I mean, and just keep going. You know what I mean? Don't let you might kind of be deterred. You might take a couple steps. Sometimes you might need, take a couple steps back, get your mind
Oh
together.
yeah.
But what I mean? In some way or fashion, every day, even if you're just going on YouTube watching videos about acting, if you're watching, monologues, or if you're watching information on screenwriting, if you're reading a book on screenwriting, if you're reading a script, you know what I mean? You are just doing something where you are constantly, becoming better.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So, and just don't give up. Just, just keep going. Just keep moving forward. And I know I'm kind of like I'm trying to think of all these,
No, 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 no. Cause they, as many tips and pointers you can give them out.
yeah, and it's like, and because we are in an age where, internet, you don't have to go to Hollywood, you don't have to go to New York, you don't have to go to LA, you don't have to go to Atlanta. You know what I mean? You can people shooting stuff on their phones. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, if you're an actor or filmmaker, find some friends. You see these IG influencers. I mean, they're shooting stuff on their phones. They're building a following. That's another thing too, is the business. Social media is huge.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Try to, it's kind of like some actor friends are kind of like, oh no, I'm a thespian. I don't want to do the
Okay.
whole
Mhm.
social media, But this is a business,
Mhm.
and this is the world that we live in. So these producers and these production company, like these casting people, want to know: do you have a following? You know
Yes.
what I mean? Who's going to go and see this film if you're in it?
Right.
You know what I mean? So again, this is a business. So you got to look at the business side of things. And that's why I said I'm building an audience. I'm writing scripts for an audience that I know people like, okay, I know that they're, this is my lane of comedy. I want to build, you know what I mean? So same thing with actors. You got to put yourself out there. So, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I kind of think I covered everything, but yeah, just don't give up. Connect with the right people, and just cut out all the bullshit. You know what I mean? Just cut folks off if you got to, and then
Cut them
just keep going.
off. Cut them off.
Cut them off.
So where can
Period.
people find you?
Oh man, they can find me on Instagram at I am underscore Tiffany Yancey. That's Yancey. And yeah, Lynette. I know Lynette. That's Cassie. I got to bust her balls a little bit because she always spelled my name Yancey, Yancy. So
Mm-hmm.
she was like Yancey. So I'd be like,
CEY.
I was like, Lynette, my name is Yancey.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I know she's on my live, so I just had to kind of mess with her. But so yeah, I'm on Instagram, and then you can go to my website, tiffanyyancey.com. You can watch Love 'Em or Leave 'Em. It's on the page, and oh, in Clubhouse, I just joined Clubhouse, y'all.
Yay.
Clubhouse.
Yay. Welcome to Clubhouse. We're going to have so much fun
Yeah,
on there. We're going to be
yeah,
doing some screenwriting rooms. So if you're not on
yeah,
Clubhouse, ask somebody to invite you because that's the only way you can get on Clubhouse. It's that
yeah.
exclusive.
I know. That's
You
some
have to be
respect. But yeah,
invited
I'm
onto
going to be on
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse, and I'm going to be doing some rooms. Oh, and I'm hosting a workshop on the 20th of February for screenwriters. It's a Zoom writers room. So if you go to Instagram, click the link in my bio. You can sign up for the class. I'm going to be having more detailed about getting that idea out of your head and onto paper. So that is February 20th, the Actors Academy of Baltimore. So it's a Zoom writer's room. So come on in.
And where can they view Holiday Heartbreak?
Ooh, they can view Holiday Heartbreak on BET Plus. It's on Amazon Prime, right? Yeah, Amazon
Amazon
Prime.
Prime. You asking
Yeah,
me?
you close enough. Amazon Prime too. I just knew it was on BET Plus.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay. I didn't even. I was like, oh wow, Prime too. But I know BET Plus, and I believe you said it was Philo.
Philo, yeah. You know
Okay,
what? Now, wait a minute, Tiffany. Why do I know where it is?
because I'm telling you, I just knew BET Plus. But it's like it's like
But
because
I
the
did my
production
research.
you did okay.
I did
So
my
I mean, the
research.
production company is putting that on different
Yeah.
platform streams. So I'm like every day, I'm like, oh, we on a new platform. I'm like,
Yes.
So, well, definitely BET Plus, Amazon, and Philo. They can go watch Holiday Heartbreak.
Okay. Well, this was absolutely amazing. I am so
Yeah,
proud of you. It's been a pleasure watching your journey. It's just awesome seeing the people that you're actually on the journey with, because we've been at this for a while. You, Neil Carr, Kevin Savage, and so many
yeah,
other people. It's just amazing, watching you guys flourish and just blossom. And you're like, wow, I'm a part of that. So I would really like to thank you for taking time out of your day, because you're a screenwriter now, so you're busy. So you took time out of your busy day to come
well,
on the podcast with myself,
oh,
which is
of
so
course,
I
man.
but I really appreciate it. It's just I'm just so proud of you. It's just so phenomenal to see what you're doing, and I am so looking forward to see what you're going to be doing in the future. I'm just looking forward to all of the phenomenal content that you're going to be creating as a screenwriter, but more importantly, as a black female screenwriter, because we need them. We need these young ladies to see that it's possible. It's
Yes,
possible. That's the main thing, that they can look at something and say, "Hey, someone that looks like me wrote that."
right,
That is
right,
powerful.
yeah,
That
yeah,
is
and
powerful.
that was another reason why I wanted to start writing.
Hmm.
Was I wanted to change the narrative. I
Yes.
got tired of seeing the story, especially about us. Was like reality show was like big, and it's like all this angry black woman, and we fight with
Hmm.
each other. I'm like, we are not all like that.
Right.
That's what I mean. So I said, okay, then I have to be the one to kind of get out here and do my part in changing that narrative. So, which was another reason. So, and I have a daughter, I have a 13-year-old daughter. So I want
Hmm.
to be that example for her and let her know, like, hey, it's possible. Look what mommy's doing. You could do it
Hmm.
too.
Yeah.
So, and any other young lady out there who's trying to get into the business, it's definitely possible.
Yeah. And go Temple. My daughter graduated from Temple last year.
T,
Klein School of Media. So
okay,
see, I'm
awesome.
rocking. I'm rocking Temple.
I see. If I
Yeah.
would not put my temple shirt on, I know you the temple.
Yeah.
Yes, TU in the building. Yeah.
Absolutely. But again, thank you so much. I'm going to let you go, because I know you have your table read tonight. You have a table read tonight?
Yes, yes, we're doing our reading for Perfect. So
Okay.
yes, I gotta get my act put on my acting hat.
Okay.
What I mean, and get it popping. So yeah, we having that at 8:30. So I
Okay.
gotta get prepared. But no, thank you for everything that you are doing.
You are so welcome.
For us creators, for
Yes.
the awards. Man, I mean, that award that I got from, what I mean, was just like everything. You know what I mean? So thank you for what you are doing, the contribution you're doing to the entertainment, the Black entertainment
Thank you.
community. We appreciate you, and yeah, we just gotta support, each other. You know what I mean? If we don't do it, then
Who
who
will?
will?
Who will? And
We
on
all got.
Yeah. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you on the next conversation with, and we will see you later.